Hey, welcome to a new video. The Megalodon was an impressive species of shark that first appeared on Earth about 18 million years ago and went extinct about 2.6 million years ago. With a length of nearly 59 feet or 18 meters, this shark was a dominant predator and had few natural enemies. The Megalodon was closely related to the modern white shark and primarily hunted large sea creatures such as whales, dolphins, and sea turtles. Fossil teeth of the Megalodon are regularly found and are easily recognizable due to their unique shape and size. Some teeth are quite large, and scientists speculate that the shark may have survived until 12,000 years ago, when humans first appeared on Earth. Although scientists agree that the Megalodon is extinct, there are still some people who believe that this huge shark still exists. Numerous videos on YouTube claim to have evidence of the Megalodon, but these claims have never been scientifically proven. It is therefore highly unlikely that this shark still exists, as no recent evidence has been found to support it. Furthermore, the presence of a shark of this size in the current time would certainly have been noticed. Are you new to this channel? Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And before we start, also like the video. The Tyrannosaurus Rex, also known as the king of the dinosaurs, continues to fascinate people from all over the world to this day. But what makes this prehistoric creature so special? Firstly, the T-Rex is one of the largest meat-eating dinosaurs that ever lived, with fossils found in what is now Western North America. But there's more. The T-Rex had strong and high hind legs that allowed it to move remarkably quickly. Its forelimbs were actually quite powerful, despite their small size, and could grip prey while it delivered its deadly bite. Moreover, the T-Rex had an excellent hearing and vision, and its bite force was unparalleled. In fact, scientists estimate that the T-Rex had the strongest bite force of any land animal that ever lived. The T-Rex was not only one of the deadliest, but also one of the last dinosaurs to roam the Earth before they all went extinct. With dozens of recent discoveries of T-Rex skeletons, scientists have learned even more about this fascinating creature and are able to reconnect what it looked like and how it behaved. Something interesting that not many people know about the T-Rex is that some scientists think it had a feathered coat. This feathered coat may have provided protection against parasites and diseases. While there's no direct evidence of feathers on T-Rex fossils, feathers have been found on other theropod dinosaurs closely related to the T-Rex. However, much more research is needed to find a definite answer. If the T-Rex did indeed have feathers, it would drastically change our view of this prehistoric animal and its place in the evolution of birds. Additionally, scientists have discovered that the T-Rex shared some physical characteristics with birds, such as hollow bones and agility comparable to that of a modern bird. 2 million years ago, you would have been startled if you had seen a gigantic shadow above the Amazon rainforest created by giant bats. The giant vampire bat would have been 30% larger than the largest bat you could imagine. However, this is an extinct species of vampire bat that lived in Central South America during the Pleistocene era, approximately 2.5 to 11,000 years ago. It had a wingspan of up to 20 inches or 50 centimeters, and a body weight of 132 pounds or 60 kilograms, making it the largest known vampire bat of all time. Like other vampire bats, it primarily fed on the blood of other animals. However, it likely also fed on large mammals such as deer and ground sloths. Despite its reputation as a blood-sucking monster, vampire bats play an important role in many ecosystems by helping to regulate populations of other animals. Fossil remains of this giant bat have been found in several locations in South America, including Brazil and Chile. The fossils suggest that it lived in grassland areas, and possibly used caves or other sheltered spaces as rooting sites during the day. Can you imagine accidentally stumbling upon a colony of these giant bats? If the Megapiranha had not gone extinct, it had every chance of becoming bigger than a shark. The creature lived between 6 and 10 million years ago, and its bite was 50 times stronger than its weight. We can only imagine how powerful the monster was, as it was the size of a truck. No one would ever want to encounter this prehistoric animal. Gigantosaurus lived during the early Cenomanian of the late Cretaceous, approximately 99 to 95 million years ago. The name Gigantosaurus means giant southern lizard. Estimates of the size of this dinosaur vary due to the incompleteness of the remains found so far. Some researchers suggest that it was larger than the Tyrannosaurus Rex, while others believe it was about the same size. The most complete estimate of the animal ranges in length from 39 to 43 feet, or 12 to 13 meters, and a weight of 6 to 8 tons. With a unique skull and crest-like ridge in front of its eye, and a downward-pointing part of its jaw, Gigantosaurus was highly intimidating. Its teeth were laterally compressed and had serrations. It's also believed to have been homeothermic, a form of warm-bloodedness that allowed for rapid growth. Additionally, it would have been capable of rapidly closing its jaws and capturing prey by delivering powerful bites. The dinosaur's distinctive chin would have helped resist stress when biting into its prey. Meet Predator X, also known as the Pleosaurus. This sea monster was a type of plesiosaur that lived during the late Jurassic epoch in Europe. It earned the nickname Predator X because of its terrifying characteristics and immense size. Pleosaurus fungi was the largest discovered pleosaurid, with a length of approximately 40 feet, or 12 meters, and weighing about 45 tons. Its massive 6.5 foot, or 2 meter skull was equipped with enormous jaws that could generate a bite force of about 33,000 pounds, or 15,000 kilograms. Despite its incredible size, this sea monster was an agile and fast swimmer, potentially capable of swimming at speeds of up to 35 kilometers an hour. This made it a formidable predator that could quickly approach its prey and deliver a devastating bite. Pleosaurs fed on a range of prey, including fish, sharks, other marine reptiles like ichthyosaurs, and even dinosaurs. Some scientists believe it also fed on other plesiosaurs, making it one of the top predators of the seas in the late Jurassic epoch. Isotillus Rex is an impressive specimen, estimated to have been about 28 inches or 70 centimeters long, making it one of the largest trilobites known to science. This is a tremendous size compared to the most other trilobite fossils that were found, which are usually only about a few inches or centimeters long. So when a discovery of the largest known trilobite fossil was made, it excited scientists to learn more about it. The fossil consists of a nearly complete dorsal shield. A dorsal shield is the protective covering that runs along the top of the body, and it was found at a site in Manitoba, Canada. Isotillus rex was likely a predator that hunted worms and other invertebrates on the seafloor. It's believed to have scuttled along the bottom of the ocean, utilizing a combination of its numerous legs and flexible body segments to easily locate its prey. Despite its size, Isotillus rex was well adapted to the ocean life. Its heavily armored exoskeleton provided protection against predators and also aided in regulating its buoyancy. And thanks to its many legs, it can move quickly and efficiently through the water. Dinotherum was a gigantic land mammal from the late Miocene to the early Pleistocene, and belonged to the largest creatures of all time. Lengths ranged from 11.5 to 23 feet, or 3.5 to 7 meters, with a shoulder height of 10 to 16.5 feet, or 3 to 5 meters, and a weight of up to 26,500 pounds, or 12,000 kilograms. The name Dinotherum from Greek for terrible beast reflects its immense size and impressive appearance. For millions of years, it shared the world with other giants, and they were known as thunder beasts. But what truly stood out about Dinotherum were its short, downward curving tusks. Initially, it was thought that these tusks were used for digging in freshwater habitats, but it was later revealed that it used its forelimbs for this purpose. The tusks likely served as pickaxes for breaking off branches. Although the species survived for a long time, isolated populations eventually disappeared around 12,000 years ago, shortly after the end of the last ice age. Some believe changing climatic conditions were the cause, while others think Homo sapiens hunting may have contributed to their demise. These gigantic creatures continue to fascinate us to this day. Dosuchis, also known as the terrible crocodile, was a genus of enormous crocodiles that roamed the earth more than 73 to 82 million years ago. These reptiles were truly terrifying, growing up to 39 feet, or 12 meters in length, 2 to 3 times the size of a modern saltwater crocodile. Their powerful jaws and enormous bite force allowed them to kill even the largest of prey, including sea turtles and dinosaurs. Interestingly, their closest relative, Sarcosuchus, lived about 32 million years earlier and was roughly the same size. However, the Dinosuchus had a more rigid build, making it even more formidable against predators. The first fossils of the species were found in 1940, and a reconstruction can now be seen at the American Museum of Natural History in New York. Hyenodon lived approximately 49 to 16 million years ago, and according to some scientists, it may have existed in various parts of the world, including South America. It was one of the largest carnivorous mammals of its time, reaching lengths of almost 12 feet or 3.6 meters and weighing 2,000 pounds or 900 kilograms. Hyenodon had long and slender legs, suggesting it was possibly a fast runner, and used speed to chase down and capture its prey. Some species of Hyenodon had long, heavy tails, which suggests they relied on them for balance during the hunt. While it was a formidable predator, some species were omnivorous, and they also fed on fruits, nuts, and plants when prey was scarce. The teeth of this creature were adapted to its hunting style and varied in size and shape depending on the species. Some species had enormous teeth and jaws, or specialized teeth to cut through the skin or bone. It generally fed on various animals, but primarily targeted unusual and bizarre mammals. Despite its name, Hyenodon was not closely related to modern hyenas, and was actually more closely related to bears and seals. Permanent-Scorpius kirktanensis is an extinct species of scorpion that lived during the early Carboniferous period, approximately 330 million years ago. This species is one of the largest scorpions ever discovered, with the largest known individual estimated to be over 28 inches or 70 centimeters long. Fossil remains of this killer scorpion were first found in the Kirkton Formation of Scotland. Surprisingly, this prehistoric scorpion had soft tissue that was well preserved. This has allowed scientists to study the anatomy and behavior in greater detail compared to other fossils that have been found. Permanent-Scorpius kirktanensis likely inhabited various aquatic and semi-aquatic environments, including rivers, lakes, and swamps. It was also a highly effective predator, using its sharp claws and venomous sting to capture prey. One of the most notable features of this scorpion is its ability to breathe air, making it one of the earliest known scorpions to have developed this adaptation. Soraphagonics was a large dinosaur that lived during the late Jurassic in what is now Oklahoma, United States. It's one of the largest known theropod dinosaurs, with estimates suggesting it could reach lengths of 39 to 46 feet, or 12 to 14 meters, and weigh around 3 to 4 tons. The name Soraphagonics means lizard-eating master, reflecting its powerful carnivorous nature, likely feeding on various large dinosaurs and other prey. While not much is known about the behavior of Soraphagonics, it likely hunted in groups to overpower large prey. It had an extremely powerful bite, even stronger than its relative Allosaurus. This is suggested by the presence of robust spoon-shaped teeth, well suited for bone crushing, as well as the deep, wide skull that provided ample space for large jaw muscles. Estimates indicate that it could exert a bite force of up to 256,000 pounds per square inch, or 1,800 kilograms per square centimeter. Despite its imposing size and impressive offensive capabilities, Soraphagonics was not at the top of the food chain in the late Jurassic. This is because it likely shared its habitat with several other large carnivorous dinosaurs. The name Basilosaurus means king lizard and was given to the creature due to its elongated snake-like body. The name is somewhat misleading as it wasn't a real lizard. The confusing name was originally given because of the similar shape to the vertebrate of those of lizards. Upon further study, however, it became clear that the Basilosaurus was a type of whale, not a lizard. They were large, predatory prehistoric whales that lived during the Eocene, about 41.3 to 33.9 million years ago. It's one of the oldest known types of whales, or marine mammals. The first prehistoric whale known to humans. Despite the name, the Basilosaurus was not a lizard. It was a mammal, and it's believed to have evolved from terrestrial ancestors that gradually adapted to the life in the sea. Although the Basilosaurus was a whale, it still retained some features more similar to land animals. For example, it had small hind legs that were not used for locomotion. In addition, it also had a long, narrow snout with sharp teeth that were all suited for catching and eating prey. The Basilosaurus could grow up to 66 feet, or 20 meters long, and weigh up to 10 tons. Fossilized stomach contents suggest that it occasionally ate larger creatures as well, such as sharks and other whales. In the spring of 1923, researchers set up camp in Erdin Mana, known as the Valley of the Jewels in Inner Mongolia. During their expedition, they discovered a remarkably well-preserved skull of a gigantic creature, almost 3 feet or 0.90 meters long. This creature, named Andrewsarchus mongoliansis, is the only known specimen of its kind to this day. It roamed the Earth approximately 45 million years ago, and was estimated to be about 6 feet or 1.83 meters tall at the shoulder, and about 12 feet or 3.6 meters long. This makes it the largest known terrestrial predator ever. What makes this species unique is its close relationship with hippos and whales. showing how diverse the evolutionary paths of different species can be. With its impressive size, it earned the nickname Bone Crusher. This fearsome beast lived during the Eocene about 32 to 60 million years ago. With its snout, sharp teeth, and flat molars, it could easily crush bones. Whether it actively hunted or scavenged remains a mystery. But its colossal skull suggests that it may have been twice the size of a grizzly bear, confirming its status as the largest animal of its time, and perhaps ever. Here we have the Archopterix, a dinosaur known as the oldest known fossil bird. The creature is thought to have lived about 150 million years ago, during the late Jurassic period in present-day Germany. It was also called the primal bird and had feathers, but was not very large. It was, however, one of the most famous birds of the period. Camaraocaras were one of the most remarkable creatures to ever inhabit our planet's oceans. This giant cephalopod lived during the Paleozoic era, between 74 and 440 million years ago. With its cone-shaped shell and numerous tentacles, it was a powerful and imposing predator. The animal moved slowly over the seabed, patiently waiting for its prey. Once it saw its opportunity, it used its tentacles to grab its prey and then crush it with its strong jaws. What makes them so fascinating are their enormous size. The animal could grow up to 36 feet or 11 meters long, making it one of the largest cephalopods ever. This is even more impressive when we consider that it lived in a time when the ocean was still evolving, and most marine animals were considerably smaller than they are today. The species was also an important link in the evolution of cephalopods, and its fossils are invaluable to scientists trying to understand how life on our planet has evolved over time. The dire wolf is an extinct canid that lived during the late Pleistocene era in South America. Although most people associate this wolf with the Ice Age, it actually evolved in the earlier part of the Pleistocene, approximately 1.9 million years ago. The dire wolf was broader and more heavily built than any other modern wolf species, and had a much more powerful jaw. They stood about 2.5 feet, or 76 centimeters tall at the shoulder, and weighed around 200 pounds, or 90 kilograms. Their skull could reach a length of up to 1 foot, or 30 centimeters, and was incredibly robust. Dire wolves were often found in packs, and likely hunted larger animals such as bison and horses. They probably used a combination of their powerful jaws and teeth to bring down their prey. Fossils found of the wolf suggest that it roamed across America more than 1 million years ago. It coexisted with many other fascinating animals, such as the saber-toothed tiger and the woolly mammoth. Another interesting fact is that the dire wolf is known for its appearance in popular culture, including the television series Game of Thrones. Papanonia Regalis was first described by Charles Doolittle Walcott in 1912. He considered this creature to be the most primitive of all arthropods due to its unusual anatomy and the absence of certain arthropod-like features. This creature lived during the Cambrian period, approximately 508 million years ago. Papanonia Regalis was found in the Burgess Shale, a rich deposit of well-preserved fossils in British Columbia, Canada. It was a small marine animal, reaching a length of up to almost 3 inches, or 7 centimeters. 2 of its eyes were attached to stalks, while the third pair wasn't. It also had a distinctive body shape with a long body and 5 pairs of swimming flaps on the underside. The most remarkable feature was a long flexible proboscis that extended from the front of the body and ended in a grasping claw. It had no trouble seizing small prey, such as worms or other invertebrates, from the seafloor. The swimming flaps would have allowed it to move through the water in a series of undulating motions, similar to how a caterpillar moves. They were also covered in small appendages called setae, which likely helped the creature grip the seafloor. If there's a dinosaur you never, and I mean never, want to encounter in a dark alley, it's definitely the Allosaurus. The Allosaurus was a terribly aggressive dinosaur with a bite worse than its bark, and enough muscle power to back up its unpleasant personality. Some sources even suggest that Allosaurus was capable of swimming in shallow water or wading, making it a double threat. It was a large, 2-legged carnivore that lived during the late Jurassic, approximately 155 to 145 million years ago. It could reach lengths of up to 35 feet, or 2.7 meters, and weighed around 11,000 pounds, or 5,000 kilograms. It was also characterized by a powerful jaw, large claws, and sharp teeth. While Allosaurus was one of the top predators of its time, it likely also scavenged on the carcasses of other large dinosaurs. The hollow shape of Allosaurus's vertebrae is unique among theropods and may have helped reduce the weight of its spine while providing additional strength. There's also evidence that Allosaurus engaged in intraspecies combat, as some individuals show signs of healed injuries consistent with battle wounds. Allosaurus likely hunted large herbivorous dinosaurs like the Stegosaurus, but it could also prey on smaller animals when truly hungry. We can somewhat accept giant sharks, king whales, and biting reptiles, but the line really has to be drawn at ancient alien scorpions, right? The Eurypterids, better known as sea scorpions, were a group of arthropods that lived in the oceans between 470 million and 251 million years ago. They were the largest arthropods that had ever existed, and the largest species was more than 6.5 feet or 2 meters long. The largest prehistoric sea scorpion belongs to the species Echolopterus, which lived about 390 million years ago. It was a terrifying sea monster with long spiky legs and powerful claws with which it could easily crush its prey. The Eurypterids fed on a range of prey, including fish, snails, and other invertebrates. The larger species might even have been able to overpower small vertebrates like early fish, making them formidable predators in the ocean. Today, the largest living scorpion is the emperor scorpion, which can grow to be more than 8 inches or 20 centimeters long and weighs about 1.5 ounces or 40 grams. Compared to the prehistoric sea scorpions, however, it's small and weighs less than 1,000th of the weight of the largest Eurypterids. Dosuchis is a species of enormous crocodile-like reptile that is now extinct but once ruled the earth and ranks among the largest reptiles of its kind. Unlike modern crocodiles, these giants continue to grow throughout their lives, and their name actually means flesh crocodile in Latin. When fully grown, they can reach an impressive length of 36 to 39 feet, or 11 to 12 meters, and weigh an average of about 8 tons. With their telescopic eyes and long snout, which made up to 75% of its head, they were perfectly adapted for hunting. Due to their enormous size, this species had the ability to prey on large dinosaurs. They were masters at surprising their prey, lurking at the water's edge or below the water's surface until the right moment to strike. In a flash, they would emerge and seize their prey. When not hunting, these giant crocodile-like reptiles would bask in the sun on the banks of water bodies. But when threatened by larger predators like Argentinosaurus, they would quickly dive into the water for protection. This dinosaur, named Danakiris, lived in Asia during the late Cretaceous period, about 70 million years ago. He looked very bizarre because his appearance is similar to a giant goose. It will be hard to look at a modern goose without thinking of this ancient monster, but it also looks a lot like a camel because of its hump, but also a bit like an ostrich because of its legs. Megura, a prehistoric insect resembling a dragonfly, lived approximately 300 million years ago and was the largest flying insect to ever have existed. It had an astonishing size of 28 inches or 70 centimeters. Unlike modern dragonflies, which reach a size of 3 to 5 inches or 8 to 12 centimeters, Megura had a wingspan of 2 feet. Megura had a wingspan of over 2 feet or 60 centimeters. Fossils of the insect were discovered in 1880 and 1979 and are currently on display at the National Museum of Natural History in Paris, France. Megura was a predator that mainly fed on small amphibians, lizards, and other insects. The secret behind their enormous size was the abundance of oxygen in the atmosphere during the time. Today, there are no living insects that come close to their size, but it's fascinating to think that there may have been even larger flying insects in the past, yet to be discovered. Neocurus is an extinct genus of rodents, closely related to modern-day capybaras. It lived during the Pleistocene, approximately 2.5 million to 12,000 years ago. Fossil remains of the Neocurus depict a relatively large rodent, with some species reaching lengths of up to 6 feet 5 inches, or 2 meters, and weighing over 992 pounds, or 450 kilograms. Like modern capybaras, Neocurus was likely a semi-aquatic animal, living near rivers, lakes, and other bodies of water. It's believed to have been a relatively social animal, living in groups or herds of up to 20 individuals. This may have provided some protection against predators and facilitated resource sharing. A notable feature of Neocurus was its large, curved incisors, which were used for digging and foraging for food. It may have also used these teeth for self-defense against predators. Although it was a fairly large and imposing rodent, it was still vulnerable to predators. Examination of fossil remains have revealed evidence of carnivores such as saber-toothed cats and large bears hunting this creature. Paleodicoptera was a group of large extinct flying insects that were abundant approximately 300 million years ago. These insects were characterized by their broad, flat wings, spanning several inches, or centimeters, and supported by a network of veins. The most well-known Paleodicoptera belonged to the family Megalocoptera, which included some of the largest insects ever known. These insects had wingspans that could reach over 20 inches or 50 centimeters. They were likely opportunistic feeders, consuming a variety of plant material, insects, and other small animals. Their wings would have enabled them to glide over long distances and make rapid turns, making them agile hunters. Paleodicoptera has also been a significant source of information about the evolution of wings and insects. Their wings differ in several ways from that of modern insects, including their shape, the way they are supported, and how they stabilize the wings during flight. Like other insects, they eventually went extinct about 300 to 250 million years ago. The exact cause of their extinction is unknown, but it's thought to have been caused by a combination of factors. You might already recognize Velociraptor from the Jurassic World movies, but in real life, this turkey-sized dinosaur was a bit different. Like modern wolves, velociraptors hunted in groups to overpower large prey. Velociraptor had a slender, elongated snout with a large number of sharp teeth. It used its snout to deliver deep bites to its prey, resulting in a swift death. The most distinctive feature of Velociraptor was a large claw on the second toe of each foot, which would have been used to slash and stab at prey. Despite its relatively small size, Velociraptor was covered in feathers, which likely served various functions, including insulation and probably even assisting with flight. These formidable packs lived during the late Cretaceous in what is now China and Mongolia, coexisting with other famous dinosaurs. However, some scientists believe that velociraptors may have been more closely related to birds than other dinosaurs. The Chronosaurus is an extinct genus of short-necked Pleosaurus, a kind of marine reptile that lived during the early Cretaceous era, about 120 million years ago. Their fossil remains, limited in number, have sparked our imagination, although the reality is just as fascinating. The Chronosaurus was a top predator in the ecosystem in which it lived, feeding on a variety of prey, including fish, ammonites, and other marine reptiles. It had a large head and powerful jaws, lined with hundreds of sharp teeth, making it one of the most formidable predators of its time. Like other plesiosaurs, the Chronosaurus had 4 large fins that allowed it to swim through the water. These fins were capable of generating a significant amount of propulsion. One of the most unique features of the Chronosaurus was its extremely short neck. Unlike other plesiosaurs who had longer necks that allowed them to more effectively grab prey, Chronosaurus had a neck that consisted only of a few short vertebrae. Fossil specimens of the sea monster have been primarily found in Australia, particularly in the Queensland and Northern Territory regions. Meet Neurologus Rex, the king of rabbits from Minorca, weighing a whopping 26.5 pounds or 12 kilograms. This gigantic rabbit was about 6 times larger than the current European rabbit. Neurologus Rex lived approximately 3 to 5 million years ago, and it's possibly one of the earliest known examples of the island rule in mammalian evolution. According to this rule, animals on islands often change in size, with large animals becoming smaller and small animals becoming larger. This change is often attributed to factors such as less food or the absence of predators on the mainland. For Neurologus Rex, the absence of predators allowed this rabbit to reach enormous dimensions. It also lost its ability to hop and adapted to a subterranean life, where it likely dug up roots and tubers to eat. Due to the lack of predators, it also experienced a decrease in its vision and hearing. This giant rabbit lived on an island in the western Mediterranean during the Pliocene. Its ancestors likely arrived on the island about 5 million years ago. Pattersoni was an ancestor of the modern guinea pig, but a giant species and scientists still have no idea what exactly caused their extinction. You will be amazed at its size, as the animal weighed an incredible 680 kilograms and was about 47 inches or 1.2 meters tall. This rodent became extinct 8 million years ago and lived in the Orinoco River in South America. Centipedes can come in all shapes and sizes, and some can be quite creepy. But if you think centipedes are already scary, imagine living in a time when Arthopura roamed the earth. This gigantic centipede lived 345 to 295 million years ago in what is now North America and Scotland. It could grow up to 10 feet or 3 meters long. In fact, Arthopura is the largest invertebrate that ever existed, partly due to the higher oxygen levels in the atmosphere at the time. Despite its enormous size, scientists believe that it was a plant eater that moved quickly across the forest floor. Another interesting fact is that it made a unique way of defending itself against predators. Fossil evidence suggests it had glandular pores along its body that could secrete a toxic substance to deter potential attackers. Additionally, this giant centipede is thought to have been able to roll up into a ball for protection, similar to how modern pill bugs and armadillos can do. Megalania, also known as Varanus priscus, is an extinct species of giant monitor lizard that lived during the Pleistocene, approximately 30,000 years ago. The name Megalania is derived from the Greek words megas, meaning giant, and lania, meaning killer. It was one of the largest lizards that ever existed, with estimates ranging from 16 to 23 feet, or 5 to 7 meters in length, and weighing around 1,100 pounds, or 500 kilograms. Additionally, it was a carnivorous predator that preyed on various large animals, including kangaroos, wallabies, and other reptiles. The teeth of this creature were incredibly sharp and serrated, allowing it to effectively bite and tear through meat. They were also directed inward, which helped to hold struggling prey in its grip. Despite being similar to modern monitor lizards, there are some significant differences between Megalania and its living relatives. For instance, this creature had longer legs in proportion to its body size, likely making it a more efficient runner and more agile on rocky terrains. While it was a formidable predator, it would have faced competition from other large carnivores in its ecosystem. For example, the marsupial lion and the giant short-faced kangaroo were two other species that coexisted with this creature. Campanile giganteum is an exceptionally large fossil sea snail that lived in the oceans during the Eocene epoch. The shells of these sea snails are often found in rock layers that also contain fossils of other ancient animals, providing important clues about the ecology of the oceans millions of years ago. It's believed that these sea snails lived on Earth 56 to 34 million years ago. They belong to the family of Campanilidae, a group of marine mollusks known for their distinctive elongated shells. This sea snail was remarkable for its size, with its shell reaching lengths of 4 feet or 120 centimeters, making it one of the largest species of mollusks to have ever lived. However, other animals had to be cautious around this creature, as its shells had a sharp pointed tip and a series of fine rib-like ridges. Campanile giganteum is primarily found in the Paris Basin in France, where it lived in shallow marine waters. Like other members of its family, it likely fed on small organisms, such as plankton and other microorganisms. Tarbosaurus was a species of tyrannosaurid dinosaur that lived in Asia during the late Cretaceous, approximately 70 million years ago. Tarbosaurus was a large carnivore that could reach lengths of 39 feet, or 12 meters, and weigh up to 6 tons. Fossils of Tarbosaurus have been found in Mongolia, China, and Russia. Tarbosaurus was a top predator and had a large, heavy head with thick, bone-crushing jaws and teeth serrated to cut through flesh and bone. It's also considered one of the last surviving tyrannosaurids, living until the end of the Cretaceous period. Like other tyrannosaurids, it had small forelimbs with 2-fingered hands primarily used for grasping and holding on to prey. The closest living relatives of dinosaurs like Tarbosaurus are birds, and in fact, there are many similarities between the two groups, such as the structure of the hip joint and feathers found on some dinosaur fossils. Studies on Tarbosaurus individuals' growth rates have also shown that they grow much faster than other animals in similar size, such as crocodiles or other large animals. The Tyosaurus is an ancestor of modern monitor lizards and snakes, and at a length of 46 feet or 14 meters, it was a terrifying sea monster to encounter. This massive, ferocious sea reptile inhabited the oceans during the end of the Cretaceous period, about 85 to 80 million years ago. The Tyosaurus was one of the largest sea monsters to exist, and had a long body with 4 fins and a powerful tail that propelled it through the water. The Tyosaurus was a formidable hunter and fed on various marine animals, including fish, ammonites, and even other marine reptiles. A unique feature that distinguished it from other mosasaurs was its enormous, club-shaped snout. This snout was used as a powerful weapon to enable it to attack and overpower its prey. It would also frequently have battled with other males of its species. Scientists have debated over the exact function of the unusual shape of the Tyosaurus's head, characterized by a short snout and sturdy forehead, and gigantic jaws with sharp teeth. Some researchers believe that this head shape was specialized to bite through the shells of marine reptiles like turtles and ammonites, while others think it was used to ram prey like a battering ram. Arctodus, also known as the giant short-faced bear, is the largest carnivorous mammal we know from the Pleistocene of North America. In fact, it can even claim the title of the largest carnivorous animal since the disappearance of dinosaurs at the end of the Cretaceous. This bear was undoubtedly the fastest runner among its kind, and had a slimmer and longer build than modern bears. When walking, it stood an impressive 5 feet or 1.5 meters tall at its shoulders. But when standing on its hind legs, it could reach a height of up to 12 feet or 3.7 meters. Unlike its contemporary counterparts, Arctodus had toes that pointed straight forward, allowing it to move swiftly and agilely. Despite its enormous weight of over 1,500 pounds or 680 kilograms, it's believed to have reached speeds of over 40 miles per hour or 64 kilometers per hour. The skull structure and tearing teeth of Arctodus suggest a highly carnivorous diet. Its widely spaced and forward-facing eye sockets provided excellent vision, while its short, broad snout suggested a keen sense of smell. The jaws of the bear, remarkably wide in proportion to their shortness, along with the massive muscle attachments, gave it a powerful bite and the ability to crush bones to access nutritious marrow. Dimetrodon were a species of mammal-like reptiles and became extinct about 60 million years ago. Scientists say they had the same lineage as humans. It had a huge sail on its back. Experts say the animal used its sail to regulate its body temperature. Fossils of this animal were found in Canada, Germany, and the United States. The Dunkleosteus was not an ordinary fish. It was a true terror of the prehistoric seas. Its armored head and powerful jaws make it clear that this was not an animal to mess with. This enormous predatory fish lived about 360 to 380 million years ago, and was a fierce hunter of other fish, sharks, and even its own kind. Its jaws were capable of producing a bite force of almost 11,000 pounds, or 5,000 kilograms, making it one of the most powerful biters in history. In addition to its strength, the Dunkleosteus was also incredibly fast and could open its mouth in just 1/15 of a second, allowing it to suck in its prey at lightning speed. This enormous fish weighed up to 4 tons and had unique tooth plates that extended from its jaws and could cut through meat and bones. Fortunately, modern swimmers no longer have to worry about encountering this monster from the depths. Cynosmelus hodonsini is an extinct species of Megarodontini, a subfamily of saber-toothed cats that inhabited North and South America during the late Miocene. The name Cynosmelus refers to the following: Xeno, meaning strange, and Melis referring to the saber-toothed cat family. Unlike other saber-toothed cats, which had long, slender forelimbs and weak joints, Cynosmelus had shorter, more muscular forelimbs and robust joints. This allowed it to hunt larger prey. It also had enormous serrated canines, similar to a steak knife. These teeth were used to bite through the skin and muscles, enabling the animal to kill prey much larger than itself. The discovery of this creature has shed new light on the evolution and behavior of saber-toothed cats, revealing that they had a greater diversity of ecological roles than previously thought. Cynosmelus, along with other saber-toothed cats, became extinct around 1.5 million years ago. Radiodonts like Cambroroster are often called sea monsters due to their unusual and bizarre appearance. Cambroroster is an extinct genus of herded radiodonts that lived during the Middle Cambrian approximately 505 to 510 million years ago. This unique insect is a monotypic genus, meaning it's the only known species within the genus. The name Cambroroster is derived from the characteristic claws of the animal, which consisted of a series of parallel protrusions. These sharp claws were used to capture food and may have been adapted to the intricate ecosystems of the oceans. The marine creature belonged to a diverse group of arthropods that were once among the most dominant and successful predators in the oceans. They were also known for their bizarre and highly often specialized anatomical features, such as their complex spiny spines and multi-segmented limbs. Despite their intimidating appearance, some species preyed only on small animals and plankton, while others scavenged carcasses or engaged in filter feeding. Diplodocus was one of the largest dinosaurs to ever have existed, measuring about 89 feet or 27 meters in length, and weighing over 33,000 pounds or 15,000 kilograms. The skeleton of Diplodocus features a series of elongated neck vertebrae connected by ball joints, allowing the animal to bend its neck in various ways. Though it had a relatively small head compared to its body size, it had sharp teeth that it used to consume vegetation. In addition to its long neck, Diplodocus had a whip-like tail that it could use to deter predators or produce a loud cracking sound as a form of display or communication. These herbivorous dinosaurs lived in herds, and likely fed on ferns and other small plants that grew in the late Jurassic forest systems in which they lived. There's evidence to suggest that Diplodocus may have migrated in herds, moving seasonally to take advantage of different food sources in different parts of their habitat. In my fucking dictionary, like, Jesus, The scientific name of this next sea monster is Dracopristis hoffmanorum, but the media, or the public, named it the Godzilla Shark, as a way to describe its terrifying and intimidating appearance. The Godzilla Shark was first discovered in 2013 in New Mexico by a team of researchers from the Field Museum in Chicago. The remains consisted of the shark's jaws, teeth, and several other bones. Based on the size and structure of the remains, the researchers were able to determine that the Godzilla shark belonged to an extinct group of sharks, known as Hypodontophores. They were a diverse group of sharks that existed from the early Paleozoic to the end of the Mesozoic era, about 365 to 66 million years ago. They were characterized by their two dorsal fins, large eyes, and sharp teeth. They were also proficient at swimming in both freshwater and saltwater environments. The shark was named after the fictional monster Godzilla due to its large size and powerful jaws. The sea monster would have been approximately 6.5 feet, or 2 meters long, and would have lived in freshwater environments during the early Permian, about 300 million years ago. The origin of large predatory marine creatures began approximately 245 million years ago, with a mighty ichthyosaurus named Thodolotorchin Soraphagis. It was also known as the lizard-devouring ruler of the seas. What made this creature so special was not only its impressive appearance, but also its hunting skills. While most ichthyosaurs had small pointed teeth to catch small and slippery prey, this species had a unique dental arrangement. Its teeth were about 4 inches or 10 centimeters high, and had a crown of 2 inches or 5 centimeters, with a leaf-shaped appearance and 2 cutting edges. Although not serrated, these teeth resembled those of other terrifying marine creatures, such as mosasaurs and large Plesiosaurus. This species appeared just 5 million years after the most devastating mass extinction event ever. This shows that some oceans could recover rapidly after such a catastrophic event. This prehistoric creature is also a significant discovery in the fossil world, because it's one of the earliest known marine predators that hunted large marine animals, placing it at the top of the food chain. Gorgonops was the first saber-tooth to ever live on our planet. These large and dangerous cats are also called the lords of the late Permian, the time when all continents were in the process of forming Pangaea, the supercontinent. The very first sabers didn't really look like cats. They were a cross between a Tyrannosaurus Rex and a saber-toothed cat. Their head was covered with fur, and the rest of the body looked more like a reptile. Once roaming in the dense forests of Asia, there was a creature that would surpass even today's largest gorillas and orangutans. This was the Gigantopithecus, the largest primate species to ever have lived on our Earth. From 100,000 to 9 million years ago, this mighty beast lived in the lush jungles of Vietnam, India, China, and Indonesia, and fed on seeds, fruits, and bamboo leaves. With an estimated length of up to 10 feet or 3 meters, and a weight of 1,100 pounds or 500 kilograms, the Gigantopithecus was an absolute giant of the animal kingdom. Some have compared its lifestyle to that of modern gorillas, while others believe it resembled more of an orangutan. Despite its impressive size, this colossal creature was relatively gentle in nature, but extremely protective when threatened. However, some people speculate that Bigfoot could be a surviving population of the Gigantopithecus. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. The name Mapasaurus means earth lizard in the language of the indigenous Mapuche people of Argentina. With a length of over 39 feet or 12 meters and a weight of more than 17,637 pounds or 800 kilograms, Mapasaurus was one of the largest predators of the late Cretaceous period. Mapasaurus hunted in groups, using its size and strength to overpower the largest dinosaurs that roamed the plains of the ancient South America. Despite its enormous size, Mapasaurus could likely run at speeds of up to 20 miles per hour or 32 kilometers per hour, making it a fast and deadly predator. Like many carnivorous dinosaurs, it had a mouthful of razor-sharp teeth, which it could use to tear apart its prey before consuming it. According to scientists, Mapasaurus is one of the largest meat-eating dinosaurs ever discovered. It may have been the most dominant predator in its ecosystem, but there were other large carnivores in the area, such as the Gigantosaurus, which we'll discuss later. The remains of Mapasaurus are potentially the earliest known evidence of Titanosaurs, a dominant group of herbivores from the late Cretaceous period. The Quetzal Coatless is a pterosaur that ruled the skies with its enormous size, making it the largest flying creature to ever have lived on Earth. This winged creature lived about 72 to 66 million years ago in North America during the late Cretaceous period. With a height of 36 feet or 11 meters, it would have easily surpassed many modern buildings. Despite its enormous size, the Quetzalcoatlus could take off and fly with just one powerful stroke of its wings, thanks to its heavily muscled body. Scientists estimate that this incredible creature could fly for days, high above the Earth's surface, with a weight of about 440 to 550 pounds, or 200 to 250 kilograms. While it's easy to imagine the Quetzalcoatlus soaring through the air, it's also believed to have walked on the ground like a stork, using its beak to scoop up prey from nearby lakes or rivers. With its sharp beak, this pterosaur likely caught fish and small animals, making it a formidable predator. Like the dinosaurs, the Quetzalcoatlus was wiped out by the massive meteorite impact that occurred about 66 million years ago. Toxodon is an extinct genus of South American mammals that lived from the late Miocene to the early Holocene, approximately 11 to 2 million years ago. The name Toxodon means arched tooth due to the unique shape of its molars, which had an arch-like appearance. It was a large animal, about the size of a modern-day hippopotamus, with a massive body, short legs, and a long, flexible snout. Despite its hippopotamus-like appearance, Toxodon was not closely related to modern mammals, and belonged to a separate family known as Toxodontidae. Fossil evidence suggests that Toxodon was a herbivore and primarily fed on grass and other types of vegetation. Multiple fossils of Toxodon have been found in South America, providing an important insight into the behavior and evolution of the animal. If there's one thing hippos are known for, it's their unique, unnatural aggression. Toxodon lived just like hippos, so they were just as dangerous as hippos. Parapuzosa separendensis is an extinct species of ammonite that lived during the late Cretaceous period, approximately 83 to 71 million years ago. It inhabited the marine environments of what is now Westphalia, Germany. It's the largest known species of ammonite, with a shell that could reach up to 4 feet, or 1.2 meters in diameter, and weigh over 220 pounds, or 100 kilograms. However, it's unclear whether the ammonite was a fast swimmer or mainly lived in the seabed. The exact size is a matter of debate, as many specimens are incomplete or damaged, but scientists agree that there were no larger ammonites than this one. The name ammonite comes from the spiral shape of the animal's shell, which is thought to resemble the horns of an ancient Egyptian god, Ammon. These distinctive spirals of ammonite shells have been used as a symbol for the interconnectivity of everything. The Utahraptor roamed the Earth around 125 million years ago, long before the mass extinction that wiped out all the dinosaurs at the end of the Cretaceous period. With its sickle-shaped claws measuring up to 23 centimeters long, Utahraptor is one of the largest and most fearsome dinosaurs. The first fossils of Utahraptor were discovered in the early 1990s in Utah. Utahraptor was likely a fast and agile dinosaur, capable of running at speeds of up to 28 miles per hour or 48 kilometers an hour. Some scientists believe that Utahraptor hunted in groups, employing tactics similar to modern hawks or wolves to empower prey much larger than themselves. It could also rotate its sickle-shaped claws and get a better grip on its prey, which sounds quite terrifying, doesn't it? The Liopleurodon wasn't a dinosaur, but it lived alongside them, which perhaps speaks even more to its power. This sea monster was one of the largest known marine reptiles that had ever lived, with an estimated maximum length of up to 23 feet or 7 meters, and a weight of up to 4,410 pounds, or 2,000 kilograms. It had a huge head with sharp teeth and 4 fins, which it efficiently hunted large prey. The first remnants of the Liopleurodon were discovered in England in the 19th century, but it wasn't until more complete remains were found in France in the 80s and 90s that paleontologists began to appreciate the true size and characteristics of this sea monster. The Liopleurodon was a plesiosaur, meaning it had a long neck and a relatively small head in relation to its body. Nevertheless, its head was still enormous, with jaws that could open wide enough to swallow the prey the size of small cars. This sea monster was only present for 5 million years, but it would have caused quite a stir. The creature hunted with a unique technique called hydrodynamic camouflage. It used its large body to create a wave, allowing it to hide and be more difficult to spot by its prey. Once the Liopleurodon was close enough, it quickly accelerated and grabbed its prey with lightning-fast reflexes. Trilobites were among the first animals to develop eyes, with some species possessing very complex and advanced visual systems. They belonged to the earliest known arthropods and ruled the shallow waters to the vast depths of the ocean. Trilobites lived in the early Cambrian to the end of the Permian, approximately 520 to 251 million years ago. They were incredibly diverse, with over 20,000 different species known from the fossil record. Their bodies were divided into three main parts: the head, thorax, and tailpiece, with distinctive legs attached to the thorax. Despite their diversity and success over millions of years, they died out around the same time as the dinosaurs. Can you believe there were so many scary and large insects on Earth back then? Let me know in those comments. Gigantosaurus is named after the city of Mahajanga in Madagascar, where the first fossils of this dinosaur were discovered in the early 20th century. It's unique among theropod dinosaurs because it had a lower jaw that can move sideways, allowing it to chew its food more effectively. Additionally, Gigantosaurus is sometimes called the cannibal dinosaur because of its distinctive dental features, as it's believed to have consumed not only meat but also bones of other dinosaurs. Although the exact behavior of this dinosaur isn't well understood, it's believed to have been a highly adaptable hunter capable of surviving in different environments. It may have also been a social dinosaur, as there's evidence of it living in groups and engaging in behaviors such as cooperative hunting. Scientists have found evidence of bite marks on some Gigantosaurus fossils, suggesting that it may have been attacked by other predators or even engaged in fights with other members of its own species. Archopterix was a giant sea scorpion and not something you would want to encounter while diving into the sea. About 390 million years ago, it had strong defense mechanisms, including spikes, claws, and armor to protect itself from predators. Fortunately, this species has been extinct for a long time. Based on a found claw of 18 inches or 46 centimeters, scientists estimate that the scorpion could reach a length of 8.5 feet or 2.6 meters, making it the largest arthropod ever discovered. With compound eyes that suggest high visual acuity, the species was an active and powerful top predator of its time. Some theories even suggest that they might have enjoyed human flesh. Despite this terrifying possibility, the sea scorpion mainly fed on fish, which it grasped with its sharp claws and teeth. It's believed that these sea scorpions evolved from smaller marine organisms and was able to reach such an enormous size due to a lack of competition from other fish and vertebrates. Brontornis is an extinct genus of giant birds that lived during the early to middle Miocene, approximately 16 to 12 million years ago. Brontornis is one of the largest birds to have ever existed, standing at 10 feet or 3 meters tall and weighing 1,100 pounds or 500 kilograms. Despite its immense size, the giant bird was unable to fly. Scientists believe, however, that it was a predator, likely hunting other large animals. Some of the fossil specimens of the Brontornis have been found in Argentina, providing important insights into its anatomy and behavior. Analysis of the fossils suggests that the bird had a relatively small brain and relatively simple nervous system. The extinction of this creature and other large flightless birds in South America is thought to be linked to the arrival of humans in the region, who hunted these animals and disrupted the ecosystems they depended on. The Archopterix burmanicus is a genus of extinct wasps that contains 8 known species, and it's the only genus in the family of Archoptericidae. The wasps in this genus stand out for their unique appearance, which is compared to the combination of an ant, a grasshopper, and a wasp. Thanks to one specimen that was remarkably well preserved, scientists were able to study the wasp in detail. The remarkable fossil showed a well-preserved head, but due to the preservation process, the abdomen was flattened. The wasp is thought to have a slender body with a distinctive neck-like structure. The head was elongated and had a large compound eye, antenna, and strong jaws. The wings were clear with visible veins and small hairs, and the legs were long and slender, resembling those of a grasshopper. The specimen found was a female. It's a wingless wasp, but it's believed that the species lost its wings due to dense vegetation in the surrounding environment. Jurassic Park would have gotten 2 things wrong about this next dinosaur. Despite being depicted as a small venomous dinosaur in Jurassic Park, the real Dilophosaurus was actually a much larger and more formidable predator. It also didn't screech or spit venom. Dilophosaurus gets its name from the 2 thin crests on its skull, which some scientists believe were used to impress potential mates or intimidate rivals. This dinosaur is considered to be a skilled hunter, with sharp teeth and powerful jaws that could bring down prey much larger than itself. While it's often displayed in popular culture with a neck frill like a frilled lizard, there's no evidence that it actually had that feature. However, recent fossil evidence suggests that Dilophosaurus was capable of hunting other dinosaurs. Some scientists believe it could reach speeds of up to 30 miles per hour or 48 kilometers per hour, making it one of the fastest predators of its time. Dilophosaurus had leaf-shaped teeth that were serrated, allowing it to inflict deep, crippling wounds on its prey. The widespread Nothosaurus was an extinct genus of reptiles from the Triassic era, living from about 240 to 210 million years ago. The name Nothosaurus translates to false lizard, and was given to this creature because its physical characteristics were initially confused with those of a lizard. These animals were marine reptiles that had evolved from land animals and were well adapted to hunting fish underwater. They had elongated bodies that could reach a length of up to 13 feet, or 4 meters, and streamlined heads that helped them move swiftly through the water. They also had paddle-like limbs that allowed them to swim easily through the water, and a long, powerful tail that aided them in maneuvering and changing direction. They were also able to regulate their body temperature, making them warm-blooded. This is a unique characteristic that the Nothosaurus shared with modern mammals and some birds, and was a reason why they were successful in the seas. They had a powerful bite and teeth that were adapted to catch and hold slippery fish. These serrated teeth helped them to easily cut through the flesh of their prey. Carbonemys was a prehistoric creature known for its gigantic size and impressive hunting abilities. This extinct species of turtle roamed the Earth about 60 to 58 million years ago in what is now northwestern Colombia. The discovery of this turtle species in a coal mine in Correjon in 2005 provided valuable insights to the remarkable features of Carbonemys. The animal's shell was an astonishing 5.5 feet, or 1.7 meters long, making it one of the largest turtles to ever have existed. It's hard to imagine animals of such immense size walking the earth so long ago. But Carbonemys was indeed a powerful carnivorous reptile, with massive jaws strong enough to kill crocodile-like creatures. The name of the genus comes from the Latin word carbo, which means coal, as a reference to the mine where the first species was found. Interestingly, Carbonemys were not the only giant reptile that existed at the same time and place. It shared its environment with the colossal Titanoboa. The idea of these two enormous predators living in the same environment is quite terrifying, don't you think? While today we have rhinoceroses on Earth that can already grow quite large, can you imagine that there were once super rhinoceroses? Basilotherium is an extinct genus of hornless rhinoceros-like mammals that lived during the Oligocene epoch, between 34 and 23 million years ago. It's one of the largest terrestrial mammals to have ever existed, with adult specimens reaching up to 18 feet or 5.5 meters in length. Despite its enormous size, it was a herbivore. Therefore, it's believed to have been a browser, using its long neck and grasping lips to pluck leaves and branches from tall trees. Its immense size allowed it to reach vegetation high above the ground, where smaller herbivores couldn't access. The exact appearance of this creature is uncertain, as a complete skeleton has never been found, but is presumed to have had a long, slender neck and a relatively small skull. It's believed to have been a solitary animal, exhibiting little to no social behavior. The Mongoliarachni were some of the largest spiders that ever existed, with a leg span of up to 6 inches or 15 centimeters. In comparison, the average spider today has a leg span of only a few inches or centimeters. This colossal spider sprawled the Earth during the Jurassic period, around 165 million years ago. The Jurassic period was a time of significant evolutionary innovation, during which many new species of plants and animals evolved. The Mongoliarachni was just one example of this incredible diversity of life that existed at the time. It turns out these spiders were predators, likely feeding on small vertebrate animals and other insects. Their large size and strength made them fierce hunters, capable of taking down prey much larger than themselves. Scientists believe that the Mongoliarachni lived in burrows that were possibly up to nearly 3 feet or 1 meter deep. These burrows may have served as a protection and refuge from other predators in harsh environmental conditions. If you're already afraid of spiders, you'll probably be very glad that this spider species is extinct, huh? You're looking at one of the earliest known genera of dinosaurs, estimated to have lived approximately 228 to 201 million years ago. The first fossils of Cephalopods were discovered in 1881 by the geologist Edward Drinker Cope, making it one of the earliest known dinosaurs to be described. Cephalopods is a genus of theropod dinosaurs from the Cephalopod group that lived during the late Triassic period in the southwestern United States. It was a small, slender-bodied bipedal carnivore that could reach up to 10 feet or 3 meters in length. It's known for its elongated, slender hind legs and short arms with 3 fingers. Despite its small size, Cephalopods was believed to be a fast and agile runner. As a highly social dinosaur, it likely lived in large groups and may have exhibited social behavior, such as parental care. Interestingly, it may have hunted in groups to overpower larger prey. Cephalopods is also remarkable because it's one of the most abundant fossil vertebrates ever discovered, with thousands of specimens found in a single deposit in New Mexico. Sharks have always been intimidating creatures, but they pale in comparison to the Helicoprion, which swam in the oceans of Earth 280 million years ago. This species managed to survive the Permian Triassic mass extinction, a catastrophic event that wiped out 95% of all marine life. Unfortunately, Helicoprion eventually went extinct. What made this shark-like creature so terrifying was its lower jaw, which resembled a circular saw. Experts believe that Helicoprion could grow up to 40 feet, or 12 meters long, almost twice the size of a modern white shark. Meeting this creature while diving in the ocean would have been a nightmare. It was also cunning and often hid in schools of fish before ambushing its prey with its frightening jaws. Stupendimus is an extinct genus of freshwater turtles that lived in South America during the Neogene epoch, between 23 and 5 million years ago. It's the largest known freshwater turtle, with a massive shell that can reach up to 8 feet, or 2.4 meters in length, and weigh up to 2,646 pounds, or 1,200 kilograms. In addition to its size, Stupendimus had other unique features, including a prominent horn-like structure at the front of its shell and a narrow skull with large, powerful jaws. Fossils found of this creature indicate that it was a carnivorous predator, with a diet likely consisting of fish, snails, and other turtles. Despite its enormous size, it's surprisingly agile, both on land and in the water. This creature likely inhabited large rivers and swamps, where it had access to an abundant food source. The discovery of their existence has challenged previous assumptions about turtle evolution, suggesting that much larger species were present at earlier times than previously recognized. Can you imagine that? Manipulator modificaputus is an extinct species of cockroach that lived during the Cretaceous period, about 100 million years ago. One of the most notable characteristics of this species is its elongated forelegs, which were likely used to grasp and manipulate objects, hence the name manipulator. This unique adaptation is different from what we see in living cockroach species and suggests a highly specialized lifestyle. Based on morphology, scientists believe that this cockroach possibly lived in a challenging environment, with many obstacles and vegetation. Another unique feature of this cockroach species is a modification to its hind leg, which is likely used as a sensory antenna, providing the cockroach with additional info about its surroundings. This modification is not seen in any other known cockroach species. Therefore, the discovery of this cockroach provides valuable insights into the evolutionary history and the adaptations that enable these insects to survive in diverse environments for millions of years. As cockroaches are such successful and resilient organisms, it may also tell us more about the natural history of the planet. If you think this dinosaur looks extra menacing, that's because it was. Firstly, its name is derived from the shark genus Carcharodon. Secondly, it's known for its enormous skull, measuring between 4 feet 8 inches and 5 feet 4 inches, or 1.42 and 1.63 meters in length. So just imagine how the rest of its body looked. Carcharodontosaurus is a genus of large carnivorous dinosaurs that lived during the Cenomanian stage of the late Cretaceous period in North Africa. It was one of the largest and heaviest carnivorous dinosaurs, estimated to weigh around 6 to 15 tons and reach a length of up to 43 feet or 13 meters. It's believed to have been a formidable hunter that possibly hunted in groups, and there's evidence to suggest that it even preyed on giant sauropod dinosaurs. The Megatherium was a colossal sloth that once roamed the lands of South America and was as large as an elephant, measuring up to 20 feet or 6 meters in length and weighing about 4 tons. Despite its size, the giant sloth mainly fed on plants and used its powerful claws to pull branches off trees. But what's even more intriguing is that scientists are currently debating whether the Megatherium could move on two legs and be carnivorous, adding a new layer of mystery. Although it became extinct between 5 million and 10,000 years ago, the immense size and possible bipedal movement make the Megatherium one of the most fascinating prehistoric creatures that ever existed. Telemonstrum, also known as Tully's monster, is an extinct genus of invertebrates that lived approximately 300 million years ago. It was a strange-looking animal, with a body about 12 inches or 30 centimeters long, and a long trunk-like structure that ended in a pair of claws or hooks. Its body was segmented, and it had 2 fins along its back, in which it used for swimming. It's still not entirely clear what kind of animal it was exactly, as its anatomy is unique and doesn't strongly resemble any modern animal. However, scientists have classified it as a member of Bilateria, a group of animals that include everything from worms to humans. Despite its unusual appearance, Telemonstrum was probably an important part of the marine ecosystem during its time. Its fossils were mainly found in North America, particularly in Illinois. The fossils were in sediments, suggesting it lived in shallow marine waters. It's also thought to have been a carnivorous animal, and some scientists say it might have been possibly toxic. Homotherium is a saber-toothed cat that lived during the Ice Age and went extinct about 1.5 million years ago. Interestingly, these huge cats could be found everywhere, from Australia to Antarctica. According to many people, a saber-toothed cat should have long fangs, but not all of them had these long blades in their mouths. The main difference between the Homotherium and the common saber-toothed tiger was its teeth. The Phoricecidae, also known as the terror birds, were a family of extinct flightless birds that roamed South America and Antarctica about 70 million years ago. These birds ranged in size from 2.4 inches to 6 centimeters to 9.8 feet or 3 meters. These birds ranged in size from 2.4 inches or 6 centimeters to 9.8 feet or 3 meters, and were known for their terrifying appearance. Unlike other birds, the terror birds did not have wings, but had strong legs that allowed the larger species to reach speeds of up to 31 miles per hour, or 50 kilometers an hour. They were carnivores and used their powerful legs, which scientists believed were adapted to kick prey, to catch both smaller animals and larger predators. Although the exact cause of their extinction remains unknown, it's speculated that they disappeared about 2 million years ago, shortly after the arrival of humans. An interesting fact that many people do not know about the terror birds is that they have discovered that terror birds with long and slender beaks probably ate insects and small animals, while those with short and powerful beaks likely hunted larger prey, such as other birds and mammals. This insight has contributed to a better understanding of how terror birds fed and thrived in their prehistoric environment. Thalassichthys was a genus of semi-aquatic ground sloths that lived along the coast of South America during the Miocene and Pliocene epochs, between 15 million and 2 million years ago. It's generally described as a large creature, with some species reaching lengths of up to 13 feet or 4 meters. The largest known species, Thalassichthys natans, is estimated to have weighed up to 1,543 pounds, or 700 kilograms, making it one of the largest sloths to have ever existed. It was adapted to a primarily aquatic lifestyle, with specialized muscles for swimming. This creature also had long claws for digging in the sand, and was likely able to hold its breath for extended periods while diving for food. Fossil evidence suggests it was a herbivore, feeding on seagrass and other aquatic vegetation found along the coasts of present-day Chile and Peru. There's also evidence to suggest that this creature may have coexisted with early human populations in South America, who may have hunted them for food. While the exact cause of their extinction is uncertain, it's believed that the climate change, fluctuations in sea level, and changing ocean currents contributed to the ultimate demise. The Dinocroton draculae, also known as Dracula, is a giant extinct tick that lived during the Cretaceous period, about 99 million years ago. It was first identified in 2014 when a fossil was found in a piece of amber, allowing the tick to be preserved in exceptional detail. The species was named Dracula due to its long pointed mouth parts, which resemble the fangs of the famous vampire. Like modern ticks, the Dinocroton draculae feed on the blood of other animals. While it's not exactly clear which animal this specific species preyed upon, it's thought that it possibly targeted dinosaurs, as feathers from a dinosaur were found in the same amber specimen as the tick. What makes this tick so interesting, however, are its unusual mouth parts. Unlike modern ticks, which have knife-like mouthparts to cut into the skin, the Dinocroton draculae had long, barb-like structures, with which it pierced the skin of its prey. This suggests that the tick might have had a different method of latching onto its host than the modern ticks do. The Stegosaurus is also known as the dumbest dinosaur because it had a brain the size of a walnut. Although its brain might not have been large, its body was, and it had enough muscle power to compensate for that. The Stegosaurus was a herbivorous dinosaur that lived during the late Jurassic period, approximately 155 to 150 million years ago. It's characterized by the distinctive upright plates along its back and spikes on its tail. These plates could help regulate the animal's body temperature. Despite its larger size, averaging up to 29.5 feet or 9 meters in length and weighing up to 5 tons, the Stegosaurus is believed to have been a relatively slowly moving dinosaur. When encountering predators, it used its spiky tail to defend itself. The Stegosaurus is also notable as one of the first dinosaurs discovered and named by scientists, with fossils found in the late 19th century in the western United States. Although it's one of the most recognizable dinosaurs, there's still much about this creature that remains a mystery to scientists. For example, the function and arrangements of its plates continue to be a subject of debate, with various hypotheses attempting to explain their purpose. Additionally, much is still unknown about the behavior, reproduction, and social life of the Stegosaurus. Dacosaurus is an extinct genus of crocodilomorphs that lived during the late Jurassic and early Cretaceous, about 154 to 100 million years ago. The name Dacosaurus comes from the Greek words dakos, which means tear, and sauros, which means lizard, referring to its serrated teeth. Dacosaurus had serrated teeth that were laterally compressed, allowing it to easily tear through the flesh of its prey. This marine reptile was considered a top predator and fed on a variety of prey, including fish, squids, and other reptiles. And here comes the alarming part. It had a craniokinesis, which means that its upper jaw could move independently during feeding and hunting. This ability would have allowed it to open its jaw wider and bite more powerfully. The fossils of the Dacosaurus would have been found in Europe, South America, and even in parts of Asia. They're also sometimes found together with the remains of other prehistoric marine reptiles, suggesting that they may have lived in groups or hunted cooperatively. Doryapsis is an ancient jawless fish, and it swam in the oceans during the early Devonian, and it had a striking and peculiar body shape. Its body was covered with a jug-shaped armor, with large gill plates protruding and curving beside the boxy body. Additionally, this fish had a long, flexible tail and an elongated, slender snout, protruding forward. Two thin, nail-like projections also emerged from the sides of the head body, almost at a right angle from the front snout. Although the exact function of these three spikes remains uncertain, it's speculated that the rear spikes, pointed sideways, may have acted as hydroplanes, helping to maintain a flat swimming position. The front spike, on the other hand, may have been used to stir up soft sediment, exposing small invertebrates and organic material. These food sources could then be drawn into the mouth of the jawless fish. The peculiar body shape of this fish has sparked discussions about its lifestyle. Two main hypotheses have emerged. The first suggests that it primarily lived in the upper layers of the water column as a surface pelagic swimmer. The second hypothesis proposes that it was a benthic burrower, residing in the sediments of the ocean floor and feeding. Even though the name monkeydactyl makes you think it was a half-ape, half-pterodactyl, that's not quite the case. The prehistoric animal had wings and lived 160 million years ago. Interestingly, it had a bond with primates, and it was covered in fur. They even had a large thumb on each hand, which is a sign of a mammal. The Mosasaurus was one of the largest and last extinct carnivorous reptiles. The creature exclusively lived in the water about 66 million years ago. The name Mosasaurus is derived from the River Maas in the Netherlands, where the first fossils were discovered. The Mosasaurus was a formidable hunter and preyed on fish, large sea turtles, smaller Mosasaurus, and even birds. It had an impressive jaw that could open wide enough to consume almost anything it wanted. What many people don't know is that the Mosasaurus also played an important role in history of paleontology. In 1794, fossils of the Mosasaurus were discovered in St. Peter's Mountain in Maastricht. These fossils were the first remains of an animal that did not belong to the contemporary fauna. The discovery of the Mosasaurus was, therefore, a crucial step in understanding the evolution of life on Earth. Additionally, the Mosasaurus was reportedly the inspiration for the mythical sea monsters that appear in many stories. In the 18th century, it was not yet known that these were extinct animals. Therefore, it was believed that monsters had lived in the seas in the past, and the Mosasaurus was seen as evidence of that. Macrauchenia was a herbivorous mammal that lived in South America during the late Miocene epoch, approximately 7 million years ago. It was characterized by its long neck and slender body, which allowed for efficient grazing of tall vegetation. Despite being an ungulate, Macrauchenia's 3 toes suggest it may have been more closely related to modern camels and llamas than to horses and deer. The first fossils of this creature were discovered in the early 20th century, but its unusual anatomy led to much more debate about its evolutionary relationships until genetic evidence was discovered in the early 21st century. It's believed that Macrauchenia lived in open savanna-like habitats, where it likely fell prey to large predators, such as saber-toothed cats and terrestrial birds. This animal became extinct approximately 11,000 years ago, around the time of the last ice age, possibly due to overhunting by early humans or changes in its habitat. Initially, when the Megarachne was found, it was thought to be a giant spider, but later studies revealed that it was a sea scorpion known as a Eurypterid. Eurypterids are an extinct group of aquatic arthropods that lived during the Paleozoic era, which extended from 541 to 251 million years ago. The species of Megarachne was first discovered in the 1980s, based on a fossilized imprint found in Argentina. Since then, further research has been conducted to better understand this fascinating creature. It's believed to have lived in shallow seas, and used its powerful claws to capture and kill prey. One of the most notable features of the Megarachne, however, was its size. Initially, it was thought that its legs spanned an estimated 13 feet or 4 meters. However, the estimate was later challenged by scientists, with some suggesting it was smaller. Despite its smaller size, the Megarachne is still an important species to study, as it provides insights into the evolutionary history of arthropods. Namely, the Megarachne and other Eurypterids belong to the earliest arthropods that evolved. With a length of approximately 26 feet or 8 meters, Gigantoraptor is the largest known oviraptorid dinosaur and was many times bigger than other members of the group. Gigantoraptor, also known as the giant thief, is an extinct dinosaur that lived during the late Cretaceous period in China, around 71 to 65 million years ago. Despite its size, Gigantoraptor likely had a feathered body and was a fast runner with long legs and a slender build. It was among one of the most dangerous dinosaurs of its time, but was probably an omnivore, consuming both plants and animals. Some evidence for this comes from the shape of its beak and jaw bones, indicating that it could eat tough plant material like fruits and seeds, but also smaller animals like lizards and mammals. Some scientists believe that Gigantoraptor may have lived in groups and even cared for the young, similar to modern birds. Rhizodus is one of the oldest and largest fish ever discovered, and has earned the impressive title of a true giant. With an estimated length of up to 20 feet, or 6 meters, and a weight of more than a ton, it was a top predator of its time, and possessed several features that made it a formidable hunter. It had a mouthful of sharp teeth and a streamlined body, which made it very adept to catching and devouring its prey. Its diet likely consisted of various aquatic animals, including fish, amphibians, and possibly small reptiles. The dangerous aspect of Rhizodus lie in its ability to dominate the aquatic ecosystem. Rhizodus ruled all water, and is also considered the most monstrous river monster of all time. Unfortunately, not too much info is known about the fish. However, we do know that it lived 377 to 310 million years ago, during the Devonian and Carboniferous eras. It's thought that it went extinct as a result of competition from early ray-finned fish and sharks who were better adapted to the changing marine environments of that time. Idestus was a fearsome shark that existed more than 450 million years ago. If you take a first look at this ancient shark, you may not see the difference, but it does have differences from the sharks that live in our modern world. Idestus had scissor-like teeth and his jaws were made of cartilage, so basically his mouth was full of teeth, and any prey he encountered he tore apart in a ruthless manner. Entelodon is a large group of mammals closely related to pigs, known as the killer pig, due to its terrifying character. These creatures live side by side with Oreodons, a peculiar group of mammals resembling sheep, but actually more closely related to camels. Fossil finds indicate that Entelodons emerged during the Middle Eocene, about 49 to 37 million years ago, in Mongolia. They spread across Asia, Europe, and North America before eventually becoming extinct, which was during the early Miocene, approximately 19 to 16 million years ago. While the smallest entelodons weighed only about 331 pounds or 151 kilograms, about the size of a large male white-tailed deer, the largest species could weigh up to almost 2,000 pounds or 900 kilograms, comparable to a Clydesdale horse. Their large skulls were quite remarkable, making up about 35 to 45% of their total body length. These skulls also had tooth-like protrusions of bone, indicating adaptations for consuming tough or hard food, including crushing bones. Like modern pigs, this species was likely omnivores, feeding on a mix of plant and animal material. Despite their impressive size, their limbs were adapted for running on land. The Spinosaurus was a striking dinosaur that lived during the late Cretaceous period, approximately 112 to 93.5 million years ago. The dinosaur had a long, narrow skull that resembles that of a modern crocodile, and it had a distinctive sail on its back that likely helped regulate its body temperature. The Spinosaurus was capable of hunting both on land and in water, and scientists have recently discovered that it was also a good swimmer and able to hold its breath for long periods of time. While it's believed that the Spinosaurus primarily ate fish, there's ongoing debate about whether it also hunted smaller animals on land. Interestingly, many of the original fossils of the Spinosaurus were destroyed during World War II, leaving scientists with very limited material to study. It was only in recent years that new specimens were found, allowing scientists to gain better insight into this incredible creature. An interesting fact is that some scientists suggest that it was the largest meat-eating dinosaur that ever lived, measuring approximately 50 to 60 feet, or 15 to 18 meters in length, and weighing up to 20 tons. This means that the Spinosaurus was likely larger than the famous TRex. If you thought the Nile crocodile was the worst nature could produce, then you haven't met this Amazonian beast. Pleosaurus was an extinct genus of giant caimans that lived during the Miocene epoch in what is now South America. It was one of the largest reptiles to exist after the extinction of the dinosaurs, reaching lengths of up to 41 feet or 12.5 meters and weighing up to 8 tons. The immense size of the Pleosaurus allowed it to prey on large animals such as early elephants, giant sloths, and even other crocodiles. The creature's teeth were among the largest of known crocodilians, with some measuring up to 1 foot or 30 centimeters long. Pleosaurus was considered a semi-aquatic predator, with adaptations such as a flattened body and powerful tail for swimming and hunting in rivers and swamps. Its fossil remains have been discovered throughout South America, including Brazil, Peru, Colombia, and Venezuela. The Titanomyarme, better known as the giant ant, was a prehistoric ant that lived during the Isotillus Epoch, around 34 to 56 million years ago. The Titanomyarme was one of the largest ants that ever existed, with a body length of up to 2 inches or 5 centimeters. It's believed to have been a top predator in its ecosystem, hunting other insects and even small vertebrates. There were 2 types of Titanomyarme: Titanomyarme gigantea and Titanomyarme similima. However, the Titanomyarme gigantea was larger and more aggressive. The giant ant also had a distinctive jaw structure that served to easily capture prey, and scientists think it also had a venomous sting. The size of this ant is believed to be linked to the concentration of oxygen in the atmosphere during the Isotillus Epoch. At that time, oxygen levels were higher than they are now, which possibly enabled insects to reach larger sizes. Despite its size, it was still an efficient and cooperative member of its colony. It's believed to have functioned much like modern ants, with a clear division of labor. Can you imagine thousands of ants the size of this coming at you? Quite a creepy thought. 2 words you never want to hear in the same sentence, especially for the sake of other species in its vicinity: dinosaur and venomous. Sinornithosaurus lived during the early Cretaceous period in what is now China. Its fossils have been found in the Yizhan Formation in Liaoning Province. It was a small dinosaur, measuring about 3 feet or 1 meter in length, and weighing around 2 pounds or 1 kilogram. Sinornithosaurus had several bird-like features, including feathers and a lightweight skeleton. A unique feature is that it was reportedly venomous, with specialized teeth and venom glands at the back of its skull. The venom may have had similar properties to snake venom, leaving the poisoned prey in a state of shock rather than killing them immediately. This is one of the earliest known cases of venom being used as a hunting weapon in dinosaurs. Additionally, this dinosaur had unusually long arms and a flexible wrist, allowing it to uniquely grasp its prey. The image of one of these bird-like venomous creatures reaching out with its long arms likely kept other dinosaurs awake at night. Paleophis is an extinct genus of sea snakes that lived during the Eocene era. These were the largest snakes of their time. Paleophis was a formidable predator that feasted on a variety of ocean prey, including fish, turtles, and surprisingly, even whales. Despite their size, Paleophis was an incredible sea creature, capable of swimming at incredible speeds. Their elongated, slender bodies and flattened tails allowed them to glide effortlessly through the water, making them exceptionally skilled at hunting their prey. The largest species of Paleophis are thought to have been more than 39 feet, or 12 meters long, similar in size to the modern anaconda. These enormous snakes had impressive jaws filled with sharp teeth, which allowed them to easily grab and devour their prey. A specialized joint at the base of the skull also allowed them to open their jaws exceptionally wide. Despite their impressive hunting skills, Paleophis disappeared from the fossil record during the Oligocene era, about 23 million years ago. The exact reason for their extinction remains unknown. What do you think led to their downfall? Let me know in those comments. The Hyenodon is an even-toed creature that lived 29 to 16 million years ago. It was a giant monster that ate both plants and meat. They looked a bit like wild boar or even bison, but they had much larger tusks, and Hyenodon remains have been found mostly in North America. The biggest reason they became extinct was climate change, which caused them not to survive. Mesosaurus, which means middle lizard in Greek, was an impressive reptile that surfaced during the early Permian, approximately 300 million years ago. Unlike its fully terrestrial ancestors, this animal decided to partially inhabit the water, similar to prehistoric amphibians that came before it. This unique reptile made the swamps of Africa and South America its home. What truly set Mesosaurus apart in the early Permian was its skull structure. Unlike most reptiles of that time, it lacked openings on the sides of its skull, as was typical with other reptiles. This made it classified as an anapsid reptile. Despite these unique features, Mesosaurus closely resembled a small prehistoric crocodile. Its slender teeth were likely adapted for filtering plankton. The idea that this ancient creature hunted both on land and in water makes it extra intriguing and a tad bit frightening. Imagine standing on the coast of Peru 12 to 13 million years ago and seeing a shadow moving beneath the waves. It would have been the Leviathan, the largest prehistoric whale ever to have lived. The colossal animal shared the water with another giant predator, the terrifying Megalodon shark. The Leviathan weighed about 110,000 pounds, or 50,000 kilograms, and was up to 56 feet, or 17 meters long. In 2008, fossils of this prehistoric animal were discovered by a Dutch researcher from the Natural History Museum in Rotterdam. It's believed that the Leviathan had strong jaw muscles that allowed it to hunt whales of 23 to 33 feet, or 7 to 10 meters. This mighty animal hunted a variety of species, and no animal was safe from this ruler of the ocean. Although the Leviathan is now extinct, its closest living relative is the sperm whale. Glyptodon was a genus of herbivorous glyptodonts that lived in what is now North and South America, approximately 11,000 years ago. Their body armor consists of heavy bone segments that had hard bumps or plates and overlapped like roof tiles, forming a turtle-like shell. The shell could reach a diameter of 5 feet or 1.5 meters and served as protection against predators such as giant birds and saber-toothed cats. Despite its invincible armor, Glyptodon was still vulnerable to threats such as hunting and climate change, which may have led to its ultimate extinction. Unlike a regular turtle, it couldn't retract into its shell. Scientists believe that Glyptodon was a close relative of modern armadillos, sharing many anatomical features. Fossil remains of this extinct animal have been discovered throughout the North and South America. However, recent studies suggest that Glyptodon had a flexible, muscular tail that could be used for both defense and communication. Although the creature is often depicted as a solitary being, fossil evidence suggests that they exhibited social behavior, including forming herds for protection against predators. The Megaloraptor was one of the earliest known predatory arthropods and played a crucial role in shaping early marine ecosystems. The Megaloraptor was a sea scorpion that lived during the Silurian era, around 430 million years ago. It was a kind of aquatic predator that would have lived in a shallow sea and reef environment. It was also one of the largest arthropods of its time, with a body length of up to 40 inches or 1 meter. In addition to its long body, it had a pair of large claws at the front, which it used to capture and crush its prey. It also had long, thin legs, which allowed it to move through the water. However, its body was covered with a hard external skeleton that provided protection and support. One of the most interesting features of the Megaloraptor was its respiratory system. Instead of gills, it absorbed oxygen from the water through small plate-like structures on its external skeleton. Somewhere between 71 and 69 million years ago, during the late Cretaceous period, the Carnotaurus roamed South America. It was a large bipedal predator, measuring approximately 26 feet or 8 meters in length, and weighing around 2,200 pounds or 1,000 kilograms. Its name means meat-eating bull due to its muscular build and short horns above its eyes. The Carnotaurus had a uniquely heavy and wide skull compared to its relatives, and it also had very small arms with only 2 fingers. In addition to its heavy armor and powerful bite, Carnotaurus was also known for its highly aggressive behavior and willingness to fight with other theropods, including the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Its skull was structurally reinforced to withstand the force of frontal collisions with other dinosaurs. Despite its reputation as a fearsome predator, some scientists have suggested that the Carnotaurus was more of a scavenger than an active hunter. Ichthyosaurus was a terrifying group of marine reptiles that lived for at least 160 million years. Some Ichthyosaurus were the largest marine reptiles that ever lived, with Shastasaurus being the largest, measuring up to 69 feet or 21 meters in length. These sea creatures lived in oceans all over the world during the Mesozoic era. They had a body structure similar to that of modern dolphins. They were fast swimmers with long, powerful tails that allowed them to propel themselves through the water. These fascinating sea creatures had a range of physical features that enabled them to thrive in the marine environment. Their bodies were covered with a range of small scales that reduced resistance when swimming, and they had large, powerful eyes that allowed them to see well in low light. Fossils of Ichthyosaurus have been found on every continent, including Antarctica. The name of the next animal is quite unusual, Hallucigenia, but that's not the only thing that will surprise you. The animal lived on our planet over 400 million years ago in the oceans, and actually looked like a worm the size of your thumb. When scientists discovered the animal, they created a digital version of it. The model of the animal has a ring of teeth around its mouth, with small teeth at its legs, and I think you'll agree that this animal looked pretty scary. Dolichoinchops, a cool name for a plesiosaur with a short neck, swam around approximately 94 million years ago. These guys were truly rock stars of the sea, with their long paddle-like fins allowing them to glide through the water like acrobats, much like penguins on ice. With their large, sharp eyes, they could track down small prey like real detectives. Their mouths were filled with 30 to 40 teeth, but surprisingly, they didn't use them for chewing. Nope, they swallowed their prey whole. They measured 13 to 16.5 feet or 4 to 5 meters in length, and likely had super smooth skin. Their fins contained nearly 100 bones, and even helped them shoot through the water like a spear. But they were too stiff to use on land. Despite being able to dive deep, the species often had to come up for air. Fortunately, they didn't have many enemies, except for scary sharks and a few other species. The saber-toothed tiger, also known as Smilodon, is one of the most iconic predators from prehistoric times. However, it was not a true tiger, but a distinct species that went extinct between 2.5 million and 12,000 years ago. The Smilodon was a large feline that lived in North and South America, standing about 7 feet or 2.2 meters tall, weighing between 350 and 615 pounds, or 160 to 280 kilograms. And it had huge teeth that could grow up to 12 inches or 30 centimeters long. It was an incredibly powerful hunter and could surprise and attack its prey with deadly precision. Interestingly, the Smilodon may have hunted in groups, unlike many other large cats that hunt alone. This cooperative method may have contributed to the fearsome reputation of the Smilodon. Additionally, it ate a variety of prey, including mastodons, extinct elephants, deer, horses, and bison. What many people don't know is that the Smilodon's fangs were actually more fragile than those of modern cats. This was because the fangs were very long and thin, making them easier to break during the hunt. Despite this fragility, the Smilodon's fangs were still deadly, and it's one of the most feared predators of its time. Archopterix was a genus of short-faced bears that lived in Central and South America during the Pleistocene epoch, approximately 2.6 million to 11,000 years ago. Fossil remains have been found throughout Central and South America, including Brazil, Argentina, and Chile. It's one of the largest known bears, with some individuals reaching a height of over 11 feet, or 3.35 meters, and weighing up to 3,528 pounds, or 1,600 kilograms. Archopterix had a short snout and smaller premolars at the front of its mouth, characteristic of animals that primarily eat meat. The bear was likely a dominant predator in its environment, feeding on the large mammals such as llamas, mastodons, and giant armadillos. Archopterix is believed to have become extinct towards the end of the last ice age, possibly due to climate change or human hunting. It had a powerful bite force, capable of easily crushing the bones of its prey. Some researchers have suggested that Archopterix may have had a social structure similar to that of modern wolves, hunting in groups. Fossil evidence indicates that Archopterix may have coexisted and competed with other large predators such as famous saber-toothed cat Megalodon. The Gigatitan was a huge insect that lived during the Permian era, which took place 298 to 252 million years ago. This period was marked by some of the most dramatic changes in Earth's history, including the formation of the supercontinent Pangaea. There was also a mass extinction at the end of Permian, with about 96% of marine species and 70% of terrestrial species dying out. The Gigatitan was a predatory extinct insect with a wingspan of 28 inches or 71 centimeters. Additionally, it had large wings that were covered with a network of veins, which provided support and strength for flight. These wings were attached to a sturdy, muscular thorax, which also housed the insect's powerful legs. An interesting fact about the Gigatitan is that it wasn't a true dragonfly, but belonged to a group of insects known as Megarid flies. These insects were some of the largest and most ruthless predators of the Permian era, capable of capturing and eating other insects, as well as small reptiles and amphibians. Imagine how terrifying it would have been if humans had lived during this period. The Ankylosaurus is a genus of armored dinosaurs that lived during the late Cretaceous period, approximately 68 to 66 million years ago, in western North America. The dinosaur was also enormous, but it was shorter and wider, measuring up to 33 feet, or 10 meters in length, and 6 feet, or 1.8 meters in height. The Ankylosaurus was heavily armored with bony plates on its back and sides, making it an extremely well-protected herbivore. It also had a club-like tail that it could use for defense against predators. Ankylosaurus was a quadrupedal animal that fed on low-lying vegetation. Fossils of this dinosaur have been found in geological formations in North America, and some of the most complete skeletons have been found in Alberta and Montana. Despite its fearsome appearance, Ankylosaurus likely had few natural enemies, due to its size and formidable armor. Archopterix, also known as the giant saw, is an extinct species of giant sawfish that lived during the Upper Cretaceous. Although the sea monster looks like a shark, it's actually more closely related to rays. One of the most striking features is its saw-like snout, equipped with deadly barbs. Archopterix was a large marine creature, some specimens reaching a length of up to almost 30 feet, or 9 meters. It lived in shallow seas, where it likely hunted small fish and invertebrates. The name Archopterix comes from the Greek words onkos, meaning hook or barb, and pristis, meaning saw. It's sometimes also referred to as the chainsaw fish. The barbs on its snout was probably used as a defense mechanism against predators. The teeth of the sea monster were arranged in a flattened, grinding surface. It's believed to have become extinct about 65 million years ago. Fossils of Archopterix have been found in Africa, Europe, and North America, indicating that it was once a widespread species that lived in different habitats. Coprocicus is an ancient ancestor of crocodiles that lived about 95 to 100 million years ago, during the Cretaceous period. As you may know from history, most of the animals that lived on our planet died out after an asteroid hit the Earth about 66 million years ago. Even though the Coprocicus lived among the dinosaurs, we cannot consider it a dinosaur. It was a crocodile and looked exactly like the modern-day crocodile we know today, but its main characteristic was its huge tusk-like teeth. Imagine being a modern crocodile floating in the water, thinking you're the king of your surroundings. But what if you suddenly came face to face with your ancestor, the ancient crocodile Pristichampsis? The prehistoric powerhouse would surely give you a scare. Unlike the crocodiles we know today, Pristichampsis had several features that made it perfect for life on land. Its legs were longer than those of modern crocodiles, allowing it to move more efficiently on land. And those hoof-like tips on its toes, they provide extra grip for running on dry land. This creature even had a round tail instead of a flattened one, indicating that it didn't need to swim in the water as often as its modern relatives. And let's talk about its teeth. They resembled those of large dinosaurs like Tyrannosaurs. With such teeth, it was a master at catching and subduing prey. In the warm forests of the early Eocene, this crocodile was a formidable predator. But over time, as crocodiles specialized in aquatic life, this species slowly disappeared. Its terrestrial lifestyle became less favorable compared to the aquatic relatives. The Titanoboa is one of the most fascinating and frightening creatures to have ever lived. This enormous extinct snake belonged to the giant snake family and lived 58 to 60 million years ago in what is now Colombia. They measured almost 43 feet, or 13 meters in length, and weighed up to 2,500 pounds, or 1,135 kilograms. Fossils of this giant snake were only discovered in 2009 in one of the Correjon coal mines in La Guajira, Colombia. Interestingly, the huge size of this animal was likely due to the extremely hot climate of that time. The Titanoboa's diet consisted mainly of reptilian birds, giant turtles, fish, and even crocodiles. What many people don't know is that scientists believe the Titanoboa may have been capable of climbing trees, something unusual for snakes. Fossil remains of a closely related snake were found to have the ability to climb and take refuge in trees, indicating that the Titanoboa was probably also capable of climbing trees. Another interesting fact is that the scientists have discovered that the Titanoboa had a high oxygen demand. This is because the snake's gigantic size required a tremendous amount of muscle power to move. To operate those muscles, the Titanoboa needed a lot of oxygen, so the animal probably lived near aquatic areas where humidity was high and there was more oxygen. Dinosaurs in the Amazon rainforest. Imagine looking down from the sky and seeing rows of spines on the back of a massive dinosaur. Amargasaurus was a sauropod dinosaur that lived in what is now Argentina during the early Cretaceous period, approximately 130 to 120 million years ago. It was a dinosaur that could reach a length of up to 33 feet or 10 meters and weigh about 3 tons. Amargasaurus is known for the row of tall spines running along its neck and back, which may have been used for defense. Its neck was relatively short for a sauropod, and its head was quite small and narrow with teeth that resembled pegs. It likely moved in herds and fed on vegetation, using its long neck to reach high branches and leaves. The tall spines along Amargasaurus's neck were likely covered in keratin, a protein that provides structure to horns, antlers, and other similar structures. Fossil remains of this creature have been found in the La Amarga Formation in northern Patagonia. Recent studies have also suggested that this dinosaur may have been semi-aquatic, with adaptations that allowed it to wade in shallow water and even swim. Anomalocaris was a large invertebrate that could reach a length of up to almost 16 inches or 40 centimeters, excluding its front appendages and tail fin. This insect lived about 500 million years ago, during the Cambrian period. It had a pair of large compound eyes and swimming flaps along its body. The Anomalocaris was one of the largest predators of its time and had a very unusual way of catching its prey. Its front appendages had spiky hooks and were used to grasp prey. After grabbing the prey, it would be brought to the creature's sharp-toothed circular mouth to be crushed. Scientists believe this insect was an active hunter. Initially, Anomalocaris fossils were incorrectly identified as belonging to 3 separate creatures. However, this insect had a unique way of moving, using its swimming flaps to propel itself through the water in a snake-like manner. Anomalocaris was one of the largest animals of the Cambrian and is believed to have been a top predator. Despite its frightening appearance and predatory lifestyle, the Anomalocaris was not invincible, as it was hunted by similar species. The Therizinosaurus was originally discovered by a Mongolian expedition in 1948, in what is now the Nemegt Formation in the Gobi Desert. These dinosaurs lived in Asia during the late Cretaceous period, approximately 70 million years ago. The genus is known only from a few bones, including giant hand claws that gave it the scythe-like appearance. The dinosaurs were enormous, reaching a length of up to 33 feet or 10 meters, and a height of 16.5 feet or 5 meters. They possibly weighed over 7 tons. Everything about this creature was designed like a machine. However, it was a slow-moving, long-necked herbivore with a beak-like mouth and a wide body for food processing. Its forelimbs were particularly robust and had 3 fingers with claws. These claws were elongated and had significant curvature only at the tips. The Therizinosaurus had the longest known hand claws of any land animal, measuring over 3 feet or 1 meter in length. Its hind limbs ended in 4 toes that functionally supported the weight, unlike other theropod groups where the first toe was reduced to a rudimentary claw. Archopterix is an ancient creature that was an ancestor of many species, including elephants and rhinos. This fearsome animal inhabited our planet about 27 million years ago in North Africa, mainly in Ethiopia. As you can see in the picture, Archopterix had knife-like horns, and it's safe to say they resemble today's rhinos. They were about 10 feet or 3 meters tall and weighed an incredible 2.5 tons. Zephactinus was a dangerous sea monster that could change color like a chameleon. In addition, it could swallow prey half its size and surpass nearly everything in the ocean in terms of speed. This nightmarish creature was once a gigantic predatory fish that lived during the late Cretaceous, about 100 to 66 million years ago. It belonged to an extinct group of bony fish. These predatory fish inhabited the oceans, rivers, and freshwater lakes of North America. Zephactinus was a formidable hunter and had large, sharp, interlocking teeth, and its jaw could open extremely wide. Its bite was as terrifying as its appearance. Fossil evidence suggests that this creature had well-developed pectoral fins that allowed it to swim at high speeds and maneuver efficiently in the water. The fact that it could possibly change color helped it blend into its environment, allowing it to easily avoid predators. There were also Zephactinus fossils found with the remains of their own species in their stomachs, suggesting that they were cannibalistic. In the prehistoric Eromanga Sea, approximately 105 million years ago, a terrifying predator ruled the skies. Thapungaka Shali, also known as a true dragon. With its immense wingspan of almost 30 feet or 9 meters, and a skull about 3 feet or 91 centimeters wide, it was a true phenomenon. The colossal flyer hunted prey with its terrifying spear-like mouth, filled with up to 40 razor-sharp teeth. If you saw it, you would likely freeze with fear. Its long neck connected its impressive skull to a pair of enormous wings, making it look like a terrifying creature from another era. It was not only the largest pterosaur ever discovered in Australia, but also one of the most frightening aerial predators of all time. Its jaw remains date back to the Cretaceous, a period between 145 and 65 million years ago. With its unique anatomy, it was a masterful hunter, capable of silently descending on its unsuspecting prey. It's almost like finding yourself in a prehistoric adventure movie, don't you think? The Platypelodon, a prehistoric mammal closely related to today's elephants, roamed in large herds between 23 and 4 million years ago across Africa, Europe, Asia, and North America. It was a huge herbivorous elephant known for its peculiar shovel-shaped lower teeth. The Platypelodon lived in the marshy areas of the savannas and could reach up to 20 feet or 6 meters in length, and be 9 feet or 2.8 meters tall, as well as weighing up to 4.5 tons. It searched for food with its trunk in nearby lakes. Scientists have observed wear patterns on the Platypelodon's teeth, suggesting that the lower tusks were used to peel bark off trees. Although it looks like its tusks were designed for a different purpose, the Platypelodon used its teeth to graze on grass, leaves, and tree bark. In contrast to modern elephants, which have long, cylinder-like tusks, the Platypelodon had smaller and more stretched tusks, giving it a unique appearance. These impressive animals lived during the Miocene and Pliocene epochs and were an important part of the prehistoric ecosystem. Which of these animals would you like to see back to life? Let us know in the comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos we made, click one on the screen, or take a look at the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.